Obra turned towards the bedroom, leaving Nika standing in the hallway. She took a deep breath before following him inside. Early the next morning, as Obra was getting ready to leave, he said, "Oh, by the way, Sikora will be coming by to help with cleaning the yard and doing some gardening whenever he's free. He needs some extra work." "But Obra, he works at the farms. There are so many others who need this job more than him. Why not just hire someone else? Besides, we already have a gardener," Nika replied. "Don't worry about it, love. I'm just helping him out for a short while. I wanted to give him money, but he insisted on working for it." "You won't even notice he's here," Obra reassured her. As he left for work, he couldn't shake off a strange feeling. Nika's reluctance to have Sikora around made him uneasy, but he dismissed his doubts and focused on his responsibilities. Sikora started frequenting the house, helping in the garden. He got along well with the maids, who often served him lunch. Sometimes, he would sit and eat with them, always making sure to return his dishes to the kitchen. One day, on his day off from the farm, Sikora decided to get some work done in Obra's yard. He went to the storeroom, grabbed his tools, and started tending to the garden. To his surprise, no maid brought him lunch as usual. Feeling hungry, he decided to check the kitchen. He entered through the back door, looked around, but found no one. As he turned to leave, thinking he'd eat when he got home, he heard laughter coming from the sitting room. He paused, realizing he heard a male voice. Thinking Obra had returned early, Sikora turned back toward the kitchen and walked quietly towards the living room. Just as he was about to step inside, he froze when he heard Nika's voice. "Oh, I come, our child will be due soon. I just worry because you won't be here to raise him. But he will have a good life. Obra's businesses have grown so big, and our child will inherit them, along with the others we will have." Icom replied, rubbing Nika's belly. "But Nika, I'm tired of sneaking around. Coming at night and leaving at dawn, it's not enough. I want you all to myself." "No, Icom, listen." Nika stopped mid-sentence, her eyes widening as she saw Sikora standing in the doorway. Icom jumped away from her, startled. Nika quickly stood up, her voice trembling. "Sikora, how long have you been standing there?" "Long enough," Sikora said coldly. "I knew it. I told Obra not to trust you. So, the rumors were true. This fool is the father of your child." He lunged at Icom, but Icom bolted for the door. Sikora ran after him. "Sikora! Leave him and come back here!" Nika screamed. The commotion caught the attention of the maids, who had been resting in their quarters. They rushed outside, shocked to see Sikora chasing after a man. But upon hearing Nika's screams, they quickly retreated, knowing they had been instructed to stay out of household matters. Sikora lost sight of Icom and stormed back into the house. He pointed an accusing finger at Nika. "You!" Nika rushed to him, grabbing his arm. "Sikora, please listen to me. I beg you, don't tell Obra what you saw and heard. I can give you anything you want. If it's money, I have plenty." "No. Obra must hear about this. Actually, the whole village should know. My friend is out there working hard, also you can live in luxury. And for what? To raise a child that isn't even his." Sikora fumed. Nika stepped closer, her voice turning soft and persuasive. "Think about it, Sikora. There is more wealth in this house than the entire village could dream of. But look at you. You have a rich friend, yet you are still just his laborer. If Obra truly valued you, wouldn't he have taught you the skills to make money like him? Instead, he keeps you as his lapdog." Sikora hesitated, his expression clouded with doubt. Nika leaned in, gently holding his chin. "Think about it, Sikora. He doesn't care about you. Zipporah felt the warmth of her touch and swallowed hard. Nika, you might be right. Oprah told me to keep an eye on you when his mother came that night. He suspected something. Actually, Oprah thinks I'm his gatekeeper. He takes me for granted, Sora said, bitterness in his voice. You see, he has friends in high places, but he calls you a friend while you remain poor, and he added. So, what are you going to offer me so that I keep quiet? Zipporah asked. Name your price, N.E.A. replied. Zipporah told her that besides money, he wanted her too. But Zipporah, Nika protested, I am heavily pregnant. What can I possibly give you? Zipporah replied, what were you giving him? He was only coming to keep me company and the baby. I get so lonely here, Nika said. All right. From now on, I will keep you company until you give birth, and you will be mine after birth, Zipporah demanded. And so, a new secret affair between Zipporah and Nika began. Exactly 7 months after their marriage, N.E.A. gave birth. Oprah was not around for the birth, and he had expected the baby to come later. However, Oprah's mother was there. She pulled the midwife aside and asked if the child was premature. The midwife assured her that the child was born at the right time, in fact, a few weeks after 9 months. This got Oprah's mother worried. She started thinking to herself either the rumor was correct or Nika had conceived before marriage. She was no longer sure. She sent one of her employees to take the news of the child's birth to Oprah at the seaport. Oprah came back after 3 days and immediately entered the nursery where Nika was lying with the baby. He rushed in excitedly. Where is he? Where is my son? Oprah asked eagerly. Nika, holding the baby, opened the blanket, revealing a cute baby boy cooing. Here he is, Oprah. He came early. Our son came early. Oprah held the boy and shed a tear of joy. He was over the moon and told Nika he would be staying for a month or so. Nika was very happy too. Everyone was delighted for the baby. Among the visitors were Yuk and Zipporah. During one of Zipporah's visits, he and Oprah stepped aside to talk. Zipporah, I need to ask you something, Oprah began, looking serious. You've been around while I travel. Have you noticed anything unusual with Nika? Zipporah smiled reassuringly. Oprah, your wife is a very faithful woman. You should never suspect such a decent woman. She sits alone, waiting for you to come back home. Trust me, there is nothing to worry about. Oprah sighed with relief. Thank you, Zipporah. Your words mean a lot to me. I guess I have been letting other people's doubts get to me. Don't let them, Zipporah advised. Nika loves you, and she has been nothing but loyal. Focus on your happiness and the beautiful family you have. During Oprah's stay, he also went to visit his mother, as he usually did when he was back. They sat together talking. And how are Nika and her son doing? His mother asked. They are fine, Mama. Why do you say her son? Is he not my son too? Oprah asked, frowning. My son, you do realize you have only been married to Nika for 7 months, right? She asked gently. Mama, stop this now. I know where this is going. Nika already told me the baby came early, Oprah replied, frustration in his voice. Is that right? How early? She pressed. I never thought I would say this, but Oprah, wake up, my son. No, Mother. You told me you would stop this if I didn't find proof against Nika. You made me doubt my wife. I feel so guilty for even suspecting a pregnant woman of cheating. I have to go, Oprah said angrily, standing up to leave. His mother felt helpless. She believed that Nika's child was not her son's but didn't know how to prove it to Oprah. She watched him walk away, her heart heavy with worry and doubt. The boy was named Ugonna, meaning pride of the father. Within a few months, he was growing big and strong. Obra returned to his merchant business, continuing as usual. 8 months later, while Obra was riding in his carriage back home at night, a heavy downpour and thunderstorm struck. The carriage fell into a pit, and Obra was thrown out, hitting his head on a rock by the roadside. He became unconscious. His employees rushed to help him but saw no blood. They carried him to a nearby village to find a healer. However, they struggled because the carriage was stuck, and finding a healer at night was difficult. After a long search, they finally found one. The healer was informed that Obra's family was wealthy and would generously compensate him for his help. His employees worked tirelessly for days to deliver the news to the family. Obra's mother and Enya arrived, full of courage, to find Obra still unconscious. They thanked the healer and gave him a token of appreciation, but also mentioned they knew of a better doctor in their kingdom. They left with Obra, calling for their trusted physician. The doctor arrived and confirmed that the healer's herbs had helped significantly. Obra had suffered internal bleeding, leading to a concussion. Obra's mother, her voice trembling with worry, asked, "Doctor, will my son be all right?" "Yes, he will be fine," the doctor reassured them. A week later, Obra woke up, sitting up in bed and screaming, "Enya! Where are you, Enya?" His mother rushed in, asking, "Obra, can't you see me?" "No, I can't." "Where are my wife and son?" Obra asked, distressed. "We are here," Enya replied, trying to calm him. "Don't worry, son. The doctor is coming." Obra's mother hurried out to call for the doctor. When he arrived, the doctor examined Obra and explained that the brain damage from the head injury had caused blindness. The doctor couldn't guarantee whether it would be temporary or permanent. He also noted that Obra needed specific medicines, which he didn't have. "Don't worry, doctor. I can import whatever you need. Just tell me what to get," Obra said, panicked and frustrated by his condition. As Obra's injuries healed, he adjusted to walking around the house with a walking stick. He even arranged for a carpenter to make a custom bed that would help him get up without falling. Zipporah visited regularly, and Obra would often sit in his new bedroom while the maids helped with his needs. Though Obra struggled with his eyesight, he began to notice something unsettling. Sometimes, entire days would pass without hearing Enya's voice around the house. One day, he asked the maid who brought him food, "Have you seen my wife?" "Yes, sir," the maid replied. "I saw Madam with Zipporah in the garden." "Is Zipporah here?" Obra asked, confused. "Yes, sir. He comes every day," the maid answered. This puzzled Obra. Why would Zipporah come to his house and not greet him? As Obra waited for his medicine, he suffered from severe headaches. It took months for the medicine to arrive, and once it did, he began using it. One night, feeling thirsty and noticing the maid had forgotten to leave him water, Obra left his room to fetch some. As he passed the main bedroom, he heard a man's voice inside. He leaned against the door to listen, but only heard laughter. Obra opened the door, and the laughter stopped immediately. "Obra, my love, what do you want this late at night?" Enya asked, sounding startled. "I heard voices." "Who are you with?" Obra asked. Enya quickly responded, "Oh, I was just playing with Ugonna." He didn't want to sleep. She glanced at Zipporah, who was lying on the bed. Zipporah pulled Enya closer, telling Obra to go back to his room. "She's sleeping, Obra," Zipporah said. Obra agreed and left, but he was certain the voice he had heard belonged to a man. He lingered by the door, listening. Again, he heard laughter, followed by Enya calling out, "Stop, Zipporah." Obra's body slid down the door as he sank to the floor. After a while, he stood up, his thirst forgotten, and returned to his bedroom. He couldn't believe what he had heard. Could it really be Zikora? Obara wondered. As days passed, Obara's physical health improved, but emotionally, he was distraught. He noticed Enye hardly spent time with him anymore, and when she was around, he often heard her talking to Zikora in the garden. One day, Obara's mother visited and asked, "Zikora comes here every day. Is he not working anymore?" "Oh, it wasn't you," Obara replied. "I thought you gave Zikora money to start a business." "Zikora is now a businessman," Obara's mother explained. "He has a small petri farm. When your eyesight returns, you'll see how he dresses. He wears the finest clothes now. The day he left his job, he started his new business."